Economies of scale. So it's when the average cost per unit, per thing, that will fall as you make more, as your output grows. That's a good thing. You want your average cost per making one thing to fall. And it will happen if you grow your business, you produce more. Likely to happen because you've expanded your business, whether that's internally, organically, or it's externally, which would be through integration. Let's go through a numerical example to explain this concept of economies of scale, of your average cost falling as your output grows. So, in this grid I've got output in units, fixed costs, variable costs, total costs, and average cost per unit. Note here in variable costs, it's per unit, and at the moment I'm going to say that it costs £10 to make one thing in terms of your variable costs. Remember, your fixed costs plus your variable costs equals your total costs. Let's go. So output, if you were to make 10 things, your fixed costs are £200. 200 is your fixed costs when you make 10 things, and because fixed costs do not vary with output, then it will be the same all the way here down. So as you make more things, the fixed costs stay the same. The variable costs per unit, we're going to say at the moment they are £10. So if it costs you £10 in variable costs to make one thing, if you make 10 things, 10 times 10 is 100. Total costs is 200 plus 100, fixed costs plus variable costs, so that is 300. And your average cost per unit will be your total costs divided by how many things you made, what your output was, what your units were. So 300 divided by 10 is 30. And we can plot this on this graph here. So we've got output is 10 and we've got average costs per unit is 30. So we'll put in a dot there. Second bit of the grid. So output 20. So you're making 20 things now. Your fixed cost is still 200. Your variable costs, well, it's £10 to make one thing and you're making 20 things. 20 times 10 is 200. 200 plus 200, fixed plus variable, is 400. 400 divided by 20 gives you 20, so your average cost per unit is 20. Let's just put that on the grid. So we've got 20 and we're saying the average cost per unit is 20. So we'll put the dot in there. Next, you're making 30 units. 30 units, fixed cost 200. Variable cost per unit is 10. 10 times 30 is 300. 300 plus 200 is 500. 500 is your total cost. Total cost divided by how many things you make, which is 30. 500 divided by 30 is 16.7. So we can put that on there. So 30 is your output and 16.7 is about here. So we can see that as you are growing your output, as the units are going up, the average cost is coming down. So you are achieving here economies of scale. So right here, we're achieving economies of scale, EOS, economies of scale. And you can see that here if we connect these dots. Let's say now that as this business is expanding, it's leading to a lack of coordination. Management decisions are becoming inefficient. There's poor communication within the business. And for that reason, the variable cost per unit is now not 10, but £25 because of the poor decision making, poor coordination, poor communication. £25. So now, 40 units are being made because the business has really grown. 200 is still the fixed cost, but the variable cost now £25 per unit. So 25 times 40 is 1,000. 1,000 plus 200 is 1,200. So the total cost is 1,200. So the average cost must be the total cost divided by the output. 1,200 divided by 40 is 30. So what you can see here is we have now got the opposite of economies of scale. We've got diseconomies of scale. Because as the output has grown from 30 to 40, it's caused the average cost per unit for making one thing to go up. If we're to plot it here, it would be 40, so up here, so it's caused this shape. So it's led to this scenario. So you can see here, we've got economies of scale here, and we've got diseconomies of scale here. I hope that helps with your understanding. Thank you very much.